story of the time that I was and am most scared in my life. I've never been more scared than this. But, so we started college, and the first day that I got there, I was in the dorms, and they always like start college like, you know, allow you to get in the dorms, get acclimated to whatever, you know. So school hadn't started yet, and so we had like 3 or 4 weeks before school got started. So we get to know the people, the area, the campus, whatever, you know. So I was there in the halls, like 7th floor of Reynolds dorms in UNCG, and I didn't know anybody. So the first guy that ever came up to me was named Dave, and that's the same guy that I got in a brawl with, or, you know,
you were with him.
Road rage, right? Yeah. So, anyways, he was like, you know, we got to know each other after a while, so I was like, oh, cool. So he was like my only friend. And so, like, a few days later, he was like, dude, I got this 7-story, like, slide that in an abandoned factory that does, like, a spiral all the way from the top floor to the bottom floor, like 7 stories. Legit. He was really there. He was really there. Like, 3 feet wide and, like smooth chrome, like stainless steel. And no rust on it or anything. And I was like, dang, I'm in like Ben. Okay? So we went and got like boogie boards or whatever, and we like waxed the bottom of them, you know, and stuff. So I went and got my friend Taylor, not the same Taylor, and we went, you know, one night again at like 3 a.m. in the morning. Bad time to do anything. Nothing good happens at that time apparently. And so we're like drive up to this place, right? And it's like R.L. Stine, like classic. Someone is going to get murdered in this place. There's a monster in there. Abandoned factory. Like, surrounded by barbed wire. Like, gang signs everywhere. No street lights for, like, miles. In the middle, like, in the middle of nowhere, okay? So we drive up to this place, and I'm like, you know, I'm already kind of getting scared. But, you know, like, we're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be crazy, you know. Trying to get into some trouble. So we drive up, and there's this little area that, like, you know, the chain got bent up where people obviously come in and out. So we're like, okay, so we're sneaking through there. And we're walking up this place, and the building, the thing that you gotta know about this factory building is that there's 2 sections of it, okay? There's like a long, like, small section, and there's a taller section where the slide is, the 7 stories is. And it's connected, the only way you can get in through these buildings is a conveyor belt. And it's like a 15-foot, you know, high like that, going down like that, you know, down to the taller spot, you know. So it goes up to like the long area and down to the top to the high one. And so that's the only way you can get through the buildings, okay? So we go all the way to the back to the longer section. Sorry. And the gyros, man, that's good stuff. So, and then there's one door on the very far side of it, right? And like as we're walking in, there's like Crip House, Bloods, MS-13, like, you're gonna die like, if you come in this place. We're like, okay, this is good. We're walking down the steps. We got 1 flashlight, okay, between 3 guys, and it's pitch black. You can't see anything. We got 1 flashlight, and it's like pretty dim. So we're coming in carrying these boogie boards like white guys. Like if we see gangs in there, like some dude like gang initiation or like some satanic cult, we're gonna be sacrificed. That's what it is. Like, this is what the place looks like, okay? So, the long section, we walk in, and there's, like, pillars from, like, Lord of the Rings, you know what I mean? That big underground, like, dwarf place. Like, tall pillars, empty place, right?
Moria.
Moria, yeah, underground place. And so we're, like, walking through, like, ooh, this is pretty terrifying, I'm not gonna lie right now. So, it's a pretty long walk, and, like, the floor is, like, decaying and stuff. And, so we're walking down. Go down the conveyor belt, start walking up the stairs, which is, you go down the conveyor belt, and right to your left is like, you gotta go through a door, and then your immediate left is where the stairs are, but then further down on the same side that the stairs are is where the slide is, you know, the 7-story slide, and you can see it. So we're like, okay, so we're gonna walk up the steps, and we decided to go check out the roof, you know. So, 8 flights up, we're on the roof, and we're like hanging out, we're like, let's pee off the roof. We start peeing off the roof, you know, we're just doing regular stupid stuff. No, we had a few drinks before this, I'm not gonna lie. So, so me and Taylor, we did Kung Fu forever, like, you know, did all this stupid stuff, so this is like something that he fits right in, you know? So Taylor, Dave is a ladies' man, so he's always texting a girl, you know what I'm saying? Something about Dave, he's just always texting a chick. And so he's over there texting somebody in the middle of this, like, horrifying experience that we're having. The whole time he's like texting a chick, texting maybe 10 or 12, I don't know. So he's over there, and then me and Taylor are like, okay, so let's go check out what's over here, you know, where we came in at. So as we're walking over there, we look over there and we're trying to fixate our eyes here. And right as we're walking in, we see 3 or 4 flashlights, like walk into the building and then disappear inside the building at the same place that we came in at. Like, we're trapped, you know? That's the only place that we know how to get in or out of, and at least 4 people went into that door because there were 4 flashlights. So we're thinking 2 things. It's either cops or a gang. Either one, they have guns and they're more than us, and we're gonna have some trouble, okay? You know what I'm saying? We're either going to jail or we're gonna die and they're never gonna find our bodies ever again, and then that's it, you know? So me and Taylor go over to Dave and we're like, dude, Dave, we need to get out of here. We just saw 4 flashlights going into the building. He's like, hold on just 1 second. We got this 1 second, just go. He's like, dude, we're gonna die, man. We're gonna die if we do not leave right now. And so we're like, forget you, Dave. We're just going. So we start walking down the steps, and Dave's like, okay, I'm coming. So we're trying to go like a little stealthy, you know, so we don't hear it. And our whole idea is to get down the steps and up the conveyor belt and then just like run past them or something, you know, before they get into like our section, you know. So that was like our only thought, and so we had to get down there fast. So we got down 2 or 3 flights to like the 5th flight, and we go over to the slide that connects all the layers, you know, all the floors, and we listen down, and we hear like scraping of the feet and stuff like that, you know, people hitting and knocking stuff. And so they're on the 1st floor. So we are sitting ducks by this time. I mean, like, we didn't know what to do. Like, they're on the 1st floor, we're on the 5th floor, and we're each peeing ourselves at this time. I mean, we don't know what to do, so we're freaking out. So we're like, we got one option, man. You know, if we stay here, they're gonna come up to us and, you know, either push us off, you know, the 5th floor or something, or just kill us. So our only fighting chance is to like go down to the floor and just make a run for it. You know what I mean? So I take the flashlight and like lead up the pack down to the bottom floor, and Dave takes the flashlight once we get to the bottom floor, and it is so silent, which is really weird because we heard people, but it's so silent and so scary and pitch black, okay? And there's timbers like everywhere. There's barrels where like they slid the barrels down the slide and got down to the bottom. So those barrels and timbers and like spider webs and dust. Everything's covered in dust. And so Dave takes the flashlight from me right when we're walking out of the stairs, like the flight of stairs, and he like cuts the flashlight off, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, we're sitting here in the dark. We don't know where we are. You know what I mean? We're still not quite acclimated to where the conveyor belt is, where to get out. So I'm like, that's stupid. We need to take the flashlight and look around. So I take the flashlight from me. I'm like, no, man, we need to take it out. I turn it on and I look around, and you know, the beam of light, and you see all this dust flying through it. You know. So as I'm coming around, I like look over to the stairs, and then I look over to where the slide was. And right at the very base of the slide, right where it exits, is a group of barrels, right? So I'm shining over there, and I kind of see something move, and I'm like, what is that? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy jumps up with a blue bandana on, covering his nose and mouth, jumps up, he's pretty tall, and he starts running at us, and he's like, I'm gonna effing kill you guys, I'm gonna effing kill you guys! I turn on a flashlight, and I crap myself, and I like run to the other side, where there's another door leading into the other room where the conveyor belt is, and I like get down, you know, and I let my eyes adjust. Taylor and Dave are right behind me because I look back, and as my eyes adjust, I see cell phone lights walking around like this, and it wasn't quiet. These people are yelling like all kinds of crazy stuff, like, we're gonna effing kill you guys, get them, and you know, like, get the gun, get the piece, you know. So we're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. This is it. They're a gang. This is my worst fear. We're gonna die, guys. You know, like, I was just so despairing, but like, never give up. You know what I mean? Like, we're together. Yeah, just pause and take a picture of him. Look at this. He's telling a story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so we're huddling together over there. And we're watching all these flashlights go by, and we're hearing all this crazy stuff like, you know, all this. We're gonna die, and I thought we were gonna die. So I cut the flashlight on one more time, and I look around, and I'm like, oh, there's the door, there's the room, you know, with the conveyor belt. And so I'm like, Taylor, Dave, let's go. And so we like run, and Taylor does like a ninja like roll ahead of me, like, and gets behind these timbers. And right behind there is the conveyor belt, and they can see it, you know. And so we get down for a little bit, and I can hear them walking towards us. And I feel Dave, you know, Taylor's like has his hand on my back. And I cut the flashlight on one more time, and I see the conveyor belt. I'm like, there's the conveyor belt, guys. We need to go. Let's go. And so there's no one in front of us, so we just start running as fast as we can, dude. I'm talking, we were running faster than I've ever ran in my life. And Taylor, as we're going up the conveyor belt, Taylor is pushing me up the conveyor belt. This is how terrified we are. And so we're up the conveyor belt, and we're in the other room, and we're like, dude, we're all free, man. It's so good. So we're freaking jetting. We're like so happy, you know. Oh my gosh, we made it. We lived. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. And we're kind of going, and then I'm like, wait a minute, where's Dave? I'm like, we lost him, man down. Where's Dave at? And so Taylor's like looking at me, you know, we have like terror eyes, you know what I'm saying? And so we're like, dude, we got to go back for him, you know? And Taylor's like, it's your decision, man. We can either run or go. He's your friend. I don't really know the guy. So I'm like, no, man, we got to go back for him. And so we're like walking back, kind of get to the top of the conveyor belt. It's like 15 feet up. And we look down on the conveyor belt. It kind of goes like this and then flattens out. I turn the flashlight on, and I see Dave sprawled out over the conveyor belt, getting beaten up by these two guys. And like, they're pounding him hard, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm terrified. And I kind of, at this point, was like, terror had like taken over, and I wasn't really scared anymore. I was like numb, you know what I mean? It was so scary. And so I look at Taylor, and I look down at there, shining the flashlight, and I just start running. And like halfway down the conveyor belt, 10 feet up, I jump and do like a freaking ninja kick on this guy's chest into the timbers. Like that. And I just freaking nail him into the timbers, and Taylor's getting on this other guy. And as I'm about to just pound him with like this Maglite flashlight, I like, the light's still on, and I shine it in his face, and he goes, takes down his bandana and goes, dude, we're from your hall, man. We don't really know you. We're just messing around. This was all just a joke. And so I'm shaking, and as this minute, a second of me I just still want to hit him, and like I'm like, wait a minute, and I look over at Dave, and Dave's like, dude, you just kicked that guy's face, man. That was awesome. He's like, you're my boy. You came back for me, man. I would have gone. And he's like a ghetto guy, like white guy, you know. He's just like, dude, you're my boy, man. I trust you forever. Blah blah blah. And I still am kind of numb. But then we end up going down the slides, and I still know all those people who were involved in that story today. All so tight.